Welcome to Go Bears Diecast Workshop Episode 24. Remember, if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you'll be notified of my future videos. This happens to be a build-off about really bad Tampos. Lee over at Timeriders Wee Little Cars is the one that came up with the theme. So as you can see, I pick the Hot Wheels So Fine. It's a really nice casting, but as you can see, the tampos on it and the color scheme need a little work. This one happens to be modeled after the Buick Roadmaster, early 50s model, 51, 52. Not an exact replica of it, but it's darn close. As you can see, it's going to need a lot of help. The chrome is definitely worn. The wheels will definitely be changed out on it. But let's go ahead and get started with taking this thing apart and see what we're working with. I've already drilled and tapped so that it can go back together. I'm going to go ahead and remove those 256 button head screws. So it has a plastic base, a white interior, very plain. Probably just gonna match the color scheme that I have in my head. And there's the glass of the windshield, and of course the casting itself. So the next step is we're going to go ahead and get it in the stripper. And now that it's out of the stripper and nice and clean, I'm going to start with the wire wheel. Take care of getting any of the leftover paint that may be in the cracks and crevices. As you can see some of those body lines on there, really nice. There's some cast lines that I can see that will be dealt with. Really nice tail lights, fender skirt. But I'm going to go ahead and go over the entire casting. Now to get this thing ready for prep, I'm going to use various tools. Go ahead and take some Scotch-Brite, steel wool, excuse me. I'll go over the entire body. You can see the nice lines, the cast lines that are on there. That'll be taken off, more like with a file. There we go. Start working those off. Now you want to take your time. Don't take too much metal off. And you can follow back up with sandpaper. Probably 320 grit be a good one to start out with. There was some pretty good cast lines on it. It was pretty deep right there at the hood. I'm just going to take my time and file them off and then follow back up and clean it up with sandpaper. And there's some on the rear fenders as well. But overall, the casting is really nice. Now I'm following up with that sandpaper. And make sure you get it nice and smooth. You may have to run your hand across it to really feel it. Your eyes will deceive you. You think you might have it smooth, but I go more by touch than by my eyes. Just take your time. If you have to step up the grit, you can go to a 400 after this. If you were going to go ahead and do a good sanding where you can get a mirror shine, of course you would go all the way to 2000 grit. But that's not the plan for me with this casting. I'm not going to be using any Spectraflame or transparent colors on it. I'm going to go a little bit more classic with it. You guys will see what I'm talking about when you see the finished product. Make sure after you sand this thing, you wipe it down real good with some type of degreaser before you go to the booth. So here I have it set up in the booth, and I'm going to come back and put me some Tamiya primer on it in a light gray. Just need a nice coat to cover it all. Doesn't have to be heavy. You don't want to cake up those body lines or the details on the casting itself. Make sure you get the inside as well as the outside and all your fender wells. I think that should do it. Take a look at it, make sure that I didn't miss any areas. Alright, now I'm going to come back with base coat. It's a racing white. It's actually not a bright white. It is kind of got a cream color to it. Just a slight tint. Just take your time. Again, make sure you don't go too heavy, because it will run and sag on you. I'll let it sit just a little bit so it'll tack up. We'll come back. Spray on a couple of more coats. Again, I'm coming back with this white over that gray, so you could think you got it covered, but then when you take a closer look at it, you'll see a little bit of gray peeking through. I'll usually come with a couple of light coats and a couple of medium coats. Again, just waiting for it to tack up. This should be my final coat. So this is going to be two-tone. So I will have to wait a day or so between putting on the other coat. So it's been a couple of days. I've got it taped off. You can see I'm coming back with a really deep burgundy red color. Again, take your time. I know it looks so heavy, but it really isn't. Just making sure I got it covered. Again, once I finished getting the last coat on, I'm going to immediately take that tape off. You do not want the actual top coat to dry and then try to pull the tape off. Of course, after I've done that, I will come back with some clear and then work the details out. Now, just a reminder of what we started with. Very play worn, very ugly Tampos, ugly color scheme. I redid the interior to match the racing white. I also accented the chrome on the side panels, did the tail lights, did some details in the interior itself, and I changed the wheels out. So here it is all put together. As you can see, taillights detailed, chrome, white walls. Used a Molotov pen to spruce up the bumpers and the grille. Like I said, this is a really nice casting. It's got great body lines on it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Lee, thanks again for putting these things on, you and the 3 blind mice. And again, everyone stay safe. Remember, if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. I'm working my way towards 500, so I'm trying to get there. But it's not possible without you guys, so thanks again. Stay safe.